People want to make money, and they want to make it fast. Every few years, there's a new way to get rich. Stocks, real estate, NFTs, crypto. The technology changes, but people don't. We all like the idea of making money quickly, and that's exactly why scams like this keep working. I am not here to argue about whether crypto is good or bad. I'm just looking at what happened. In 2024 alone, Americans reported losing $9.3 billion to crypto fraud. That's according to the FBI. And remember, that's only the money people actually reported losing. The real number is probably much higher. So how did we get here? How did something that promised financial freedom become one of the biggest playgrounds for scams, manipulation, and fraud? That's what we're going to unpack today. No confusing finance jargon, no complicated explanations, just the story. Before we talk about Elon Musk, Kim Kardashian, or Sam Bankman-Fried, you need to understand how these scams actually work. Because once you understand the pattern, you'll start seeing it everywhere. So imagine you and I decide to create our own cryptocurrency. We'll call it Doggo Token. Not because it's a brilliant idea, but because that's honestly how a lot of these coins start. Give it a cute logo, throw together a decent-looking website, write a few paragraphs about how it's going to revolutionize finance, and suddenly it looks like a real project. The truth is, Doggo Token doesn't do anything. There's no groundbreaking technology behind it, no useful product, no reason for it to exist. But that's okay, because at this stage, we're not trying to build something valuable. We're trying to build excitement. Before we tell anyone about Doggo Token, we quietly buy a huge amount of it ourselves. Since nobody has heard of it yet, the price is incredibly low. Let's say there are 1 billion Doggo tokens in existence, and we secretly own 800 million of them. Nobody else knows this, and that's important. If people knew we controlled almost the entire supply, they'd probably stay away. Now comes the difficult part. We need people to believe Doggo Token is the next big opportunity. Most people don't invest because they've spent weeks researching a project. They invest because they think everyone else is about to make money. Nobody wants to miss the next Bitcoin. That fear of missing out is one of the strongest emotions in investing, and scammers know exactly how to use it. So we start creating hype. We open accounts on X, Telegram, and Discord. We post mysterious messages like, "Huge announcement tomorrow," or "This project is going to surprise everyone." We don't actually say anything meaningful. We just create curiosity. People start sharing the posts, asking questions, and wondering if they've discovered something early. Then the countdown begins. Thousands of people are sitting in Telegram groups waiting for the announcement. Some of them genuinely believe they've been invited into an exclusive community that's about to reveal a secret investment opportunity. They feel lucky just to be there. Finally, the countdown reaches 0. Doggo Token is announced. Within seconds, people start buying. The price moves up. Then it moves up again. More people notice. Crypto influencers begin posting screenshots. Someone on YouTube uploads a video with a thumbnail saying, "The next 100x coin?" Suddenly, people who had never even heard of Doggo Token yesterday are rushing to buy it. Why? Because they see everyone else buying it. This is where human psychology takes over. When people see a price rising quickly, they stop asking whether something has value. Instead, they start asking how much higher it can go. Nobody wants to be the person who missed out because they waited too long. And that's exactly what the people behind Doggo Token were counting on. Remember those 800 million coins we bought before anyone else knew the project existed? While everyone else is buying, we quietly start selling them. Not all at once, because that would be obvious. We sell them into the wave of people rushing in. Every purchase they make becomes profit for us. Eventually, there aren't enough new buyers to keep pushing the price higher. The demand disappears. The price starts falling. Then it crashes. The people who created the coin walk away with millions. The people who bought because they thought they were getting rich are left holding coins that are now worth almost nothing. That's called a pump and dump scheme. The name sounds complicated, but the idea is actually simple. First, you pump up the price by creating excitement. Then you dump your own holdings onto everyone who believed the hype. The scam itself isn't new. Versions of it have existed in stock markets for decades. Crypto simply made it much easier because anyone can create a coin, anyone can promote it online, and everything moves much faster. Now imagine you want even more people to buy. Instead of posting about Doggo token yourself, you pay someone with 1 million followers to do it. Maybe it's a YouTuber, maybe it's an influencer, maybe it's a celebrity. They post one picture, one tweet, or one Instagram story telling everyone they've found an amazing new project. Their followers trust them. They buy. The price goes even higher, and the people behind the project make even more money. This isn't just speculation either. Researchers studied crypto pump and dump schemes and found that in just 8 months during 2024, only 489 people were responsible for generating around $3.24 trillion in manipulated trading volume. Researchers found that just 489 people were responsible for generating around $3.24 trillion in manipulated trading volume over just 8 months. That's surprisingly small. You'd expect a massive criminal organization. Instead, it was only a few hundred people. Now imagine what happens when the person driving the hype isn't anonymous. It's the richest man on the planet, Elon Musk. Dogecoin was never meant to be a serious investment. In fact, it was created to make fun of the cryptocurrency industry. Back in 2013, software engineers Billy Marcus and Jackson Palmer noticed that every new project claimed it was going to revolutionize finance. Instead of trying to build the next Bitcoin, they did the opposite. They took the Shiba Inu meme that was popular on the internet at the time, turned it into a cryptocurrency, and called it Dogecoin. It wasn't solving a major problem, introducing new technology, or promising to change the world. It was a joke, and everyone involved knew it. For years, Dogecoin remained exactly that, an internet joke that a small online community enjoyed. Then, something unexpected happened. Elon Musk started tweeting about it. His tweets weren't long explanations about why Dogecoin had value. Most of them were memes, jokes, or a single word. Under normal circumstances, tweets like that wouldn't matter. But these weren't coming from an ordinary Twitter account. They were coming from one of the most influential people on the planet. Every time Elon mentioned Dogecoin, millions of people paid attention. The price would jump, news outlets would report on the surge, more people would hear about the coin, and even more investors would rush in hoping they weren't too late. The pattern became so predictable that many traders stopped watching the project itself and started watching Elon's Twitter feed instead. What's interesting is that Dogecoin hadn't fundamentally changed during any of this. It was still the same cryptocurrency it had always been. The technology was the same. The purpose was the same. The only thing that had changed was the amount of attention it was receiving. Yet by May 2021, Dogecoin had reached a market capitalization of roughly $73 billion. A cryptocurrency that began as a parody was suddenly worth more than many companies that had spent decades building real products, employing thousands of people, and generating billions in revenue. That kind of growth created a powerful fear of missing out. People weren't buying because they had studied Dogecoin or believed it would reshape the financial system. Many were buying because they had watched others make money and didn't want to be left behind. As long as the price kept rising, it felt like the momentum would never end. Then came Saturday Night Live. Because Elon Musk was hosting the show, many investors believed it would become another catalyst. The expectation was simple. If Elon talked about Dogecoin on national television, millions of new people would hear about it and the price would rise again. During one sketch, he described Dogecoin as the future of currency and an unstoppable financial vehicle. Moments later, when another actor asked, "So, it's a hustle?" Musk laughed and replied, "Yeah, it's a hustle." The market reacted almost immediately. Dogecoin fell sharply during the broadcast and continued to decline in the weeks that followed. Eventually, it lost more than 90% of its value from its all-time high. Now, it's important to be accurate here. There is no evidence that Elon Musk created Dogecoin or secretly orchestrated a pump and dump scheme. But the episode revealed something much bigger. A few posts from a celebrity had been enough to move billions of dollars. In a market where attention could have that much influence, it didn't take long for crypto projects to realize something obvious. If free celebrity attention could move prices, paid celebrity endorsements could be even more powerful. The crypto industry noticed something after Dogecoin. You didn't always need a better product to attract investors. Sometimes, all you needed was attention. And if attention was the goal, celebrities were the fastest way to get it. It started slowly. A tweet here, an Instagram story there, a famous face talking about a coin that most people had never heard of. To the average person, it looked like a genuine recommendation. After all, why would a celebrity put their reputation on the line for something they didn't believe in? The answer, in many cases, was simple. They were being paid. Some endorsements were disclosed, others weren't. But either way, the effect was often the same. Millions of followers would see a familiar face promoting a cryptocurrency, assume someone had done the homework for them, and start buying. One of the most well-known examples was Ethereum Max. Despite the name, Ethereum Max had nothing to do with Ethereum. It was a completely separate cryptocurrency. But in 2021, it suddenly appeared everywhere. Boxer Floyd Mayweather promoted it before his exhibition fight with Logan Paul. Former NBA player Paul Pierce praised it on social media. Then came the biggest endorsement of them all, Kim Kardashian. In June 2021, she posted about Ethereum Max on Instagram. At the time, she had more than 200 million followers. The post included the hashtag AD, but it also asked a question that caught people's attention. Are you guys into crypto? She went on to introduce Ethereum Max to her audience and linked directly to the project's website. For many followers, that single post was enough. If one of the biggest celebrities in the world was talking about the coin, it had to be worth looking into. But that wasn't the whole story. Months later, the US Securities and Exchange Commission revealed that Kim Kardashian had been paid $250,000 to publish the post. According to the SEC, she failed to properly disclose the full nature of that payment. In 2022, she agreed to settle the charges by paying $1.26 million in penalties, disgorgement, and interest, without admitting or denying the SEC's findings. The case wasn't really about Kim Kardashian. It exposed something much bigger. Crypto projects had discovered that marketing worked differently in their world. Instead of convincing investors with financial statements or years of business performance, they could simply buy credibility. A celebrity endorsement could create excitement overnight, even if the project itself had little substance behind it. And if paying celebrities could bring in thousands of new investors, imagine how much money the people behind the project could make before anyone realized what was really happening. That's where rug pulls come in. Celebrity endorsements did exactly what they were supposed to do. They brought attention. Millions of people who had never heard of a project suddenly wanted to know more about it. And in crypto, attention often translated directly into money. The more people buying a token, the higher its price climbed. For the people who created these projects, that presented an opportunity. And for some, a temptation. This is where we need to talk about rug pulls. A rug pull is one of the oldest scams in crypto, even though the name sounds almost harmless. The idea is simple. Developers launch a new cryptocurrency, promise an exciting roadmap, build a community on social media, and convince people that they're creating the next big thing. Investors buy in, the price starts rising, and confidence grows. Then, without warning, the people behind the project sell off their holdings or drain the project's liquidity, taking investors' money with them. The token crashes, the developers disappear, and everyone left holding the coin is left with something that's effectively worthless. The name comes from the expression, pulling the rug out from under someone, because that's exactly what happens. Just when investors think they've found the next opportunity, everything disappears beneath them. One of the biggest reasons this became so common is that creating a cryptocurrency is surprisingly easy. You don't need to build a billion-dollar company or convince a bank to work with you. In many cases, someone with basic programming knowledge can create a token in a matter of hours. Launching it is the easy part. Convincing people to buy it is the difficult part. That's why marketing became just as important as the technology itself. By 2021, new tokens were appearing almost every day. Many promised revolutionary technology, decentralized finance, gaming ecosystems, or the next evolution of Web3. Some were genuine attempts to build useful products. Many were not. The problem was that, from the outside, they often looked exactly the same. The numbers quickly became staggering. Blockchain analytics firm Chainalysis estimated that investors lost more than $2.8 billion to rug pulls in 2021 alone, making it one of the most damaging forms of crypto fraud that year. The report also noted that rug pulls accounted for a large share of the value stolen through cryptocurrency scams. Those weren't isolated incidents. They had become a business model. And the people behind these projects understood something important. They didn't need the token to survive forever. They only needed it to survive long enough for enough people to buy in. By the time investors started asking difficult questions about the technology, the team, or whether any of the promises were actually being delivered, it was often too late. One project, however, showed just how catastrophic that deception could become. It wasn't an anonymous token launched by unknown developers. It was one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, and its collapse erased billions of dollars almost overnight. That exchange was FTX. For years, scams in crypto followed a familiar pattern. A new token would appear, promises would be made, investors would pour in money, and eventually the people behind the project would disappear. But in 2022, something very different happened. This time, the company at the center of the crisis wasn't a small startup or an anonymous group of developers. It was FTX, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. If you've never used a crypto exchange, think of it as the crypto version of a stockbroker. It's where people go to buy, sell, and store digital assets. By 2022, FTX had millions of users across the world and was handling billions of dollars in trading volume every day. The company had become one of the biggest names in the industry. Its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, didn't look like the typical billionaire. He was often photographed in a t-shirt and shorts, spoke about reducing global poverty, and promoted the idea of effective altruism, the belief that people should earn as much money as possible so they can give most of it away. The media embraced the story. Publications like Forbes and Fortune featured him on their covers, while major investors and celebrities backed the company. FTX signed sponsorship deals with sports teams, bought naming rights to an NBA arena in Miami, and ran commercials featuring Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen, Stephen Curry, Naomi Osaka, and Larry David. From the outside, it looked like one of the most trustworthy companies in crypto. Then, almost overnight, everything unraveled. In early November 2022, a report by CoinDesk revealed that LEMMiNO Research, another company founded by Bankman-Fried, held a balance sheet heavily tied to FTX's own token, FTT. The report raised uncomfortable questions about how financially stable the two companies really were. Those concerns quickly spread through the market. A few days later, Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao announced that Binance planned to sell its holdings of FTT. That announcement triggered panic. Customers rushed to withdraw their money from FTX, creating the crypto equivalent of a bank run. But when people tried to take their funds out, many couldn't. The reason soon became clear. According to U.S. prosecutors, FTX had been using customer deposits to fund risky bets made by LEMMiNO Research without customers knowing. Billions of dollars that users believed were safely sitting in their accounts had allegedly been redirected elsewhere. When everyone asked for their money back at the same time, FTX didn't have enough to return it. On November 11th, 2022, FTX filed for bankruptcy. The numbers were staggering. Court filings later suggested that more than 1 million creditors could have been affected. Investors, pension funds, venture capital firms, and ordinary customers suddenly found themselves wondering whether they would ever recover their money. The story didn't end with bankruptcy. In December 2022, Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas at the request of U.S. authorities. He was extradited to the United States, where federal prosecutors charged him with multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy. In November 2023, a jury found him guilty on all 7 criminal counts after a month-long trial. The case became one of the largest financial fraud prosecutions in recent history. FTX wasn't just another failed crypto company. It shattered one of the industry's biggest assumptions. That large, well-known platforms were automatically safer than everyone else. If a company backed by billion-dollar investors, celebrities, regulators, attention, and global brand recognition could collapse this quickly, investors had to ask a difficult question. If this could happen to FTX, what else was happening behind the scenes? Because while companies like FTX were collapsing in public, another side of crypto was quietly attracting the attention of law enforcement agencies around the world. It wasn't about exchanges or celebrity endorsements anymore. It was about money laundering. By this point, crypto had already been linked to celebrity promotions, market manipulation, and billion-dollar corporate failures. But there was another issue that kept appearing in government reports and law enforcement investigations: money laundering. To understand why crypto became part of that conversation, we first need to understand what money laundering actually is. Imagine you've made millions of dollars selling illegal drugs, or running a cybercrime operation, or demanding ransom after hacking a company's computer systems. The money is real, but there's a problem. You can't walk into a bank with bags of cash and expect nobody to ask questions. At some point, you have to explain where that money came from. That's where money laundering comes in. The goal isn't to create more money. The goal is to make dirty money look clean. For decades, criminals have used shell companies, casinos, luxury real estate, art, and offshore accounts to hide the origin of their wealth. Cryptocurrency didn't invent money laundering. It simply introduced another tool that could be abused. One reason was speed. A traditional international bank transfer can take days and often passes through multiple institutions, each with its own compliance checks. A cryptocurrency transaction can move millions of dollars across borders in minutes. Another reason was accessibility. Anyone with an internet connection could create a crypto wallet without needing approval from a bank. That doesn't mean crypto transactions are invisible. In fact, most major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin record every transaction on a public blockchain that anyone can inspect. Companies such as Chainalysis, TRM Labs, and Elliptic have built entire businesses helping governments trace those transactions. Law enforcement agencies have become increasingly effective at following blockchain trails, which is why criminals often try to hide their activity using mixers, privacy tools, chain hopping, or privacy-focused cryptocurrencies. Even so, the amounts involved are enormous. According to blockchain analytics firm Chainalysis, illicit cryptocurrency addresses received billions of dollars in transactions in recent years, with sanctioned entities, ransomware groups, stolen funds, and darknet markets accounting for a significant share of that activity. The exact figures change every year as new investigations uncover previously unknown wallets, but the broader trend is clear. Crypto has become an important part of the financial ecosystem used by organized cybercrime. Some of the largest ransomware attacks in history have demanded payment in Bitcoin. North Korea has repeatedly been accused by the United Nations and US authorities of stealing cryptocurrency through sophisticated hacking groups to help fund its weapons programs, allegations that Pyongyang has denied. Meanwhile, international agencies, including the FBI, Europol, and the US Department of Justice, have announced major operations recovering cryptocurrency linked to ransomware gangs, darknet marketplaces, and other criminal networks. So, does this mean cryptocurrency exists mainly for criminals? Not at all. The overwhelming majority of crypto transactions are not linked to crime, and cash remains one of the most widely used tools for money laundering worldwide. That's a point regulators and blockchain analysts themselves frequently make. But crypto created a new financial system that moved faster than regulation, and criminals were among the first to exploit the gaps before governments could catch up. Over the last decade, regulators have tightened anti-money laundering rules, exchanges have introduced stricter identity checks, and blockchain forensics has become far more sophisticated. Yet the race continues. Every time authorities develop a new way to trace illicit funds, criminals look for another way to stay one step ahead. And maybe that's the biggest lesson from the entire crypto story. The technology itself was never the problem. It was the people using it. Maybe the biggest lesson isn't about cryptocurrency. It's about us. Every generation believes it's found a new way to get rich. History suggests otherwise. Thanks for watching.